Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Mar from Virtual Window Shop. Today, we're going to talk about AWP, known as Angel Web Promotions from India. We started video number one. This is video number two. But video number one, we started with showing people the deception and the control she has over our program. She controls everything through her computer. She tries to do this to the extent of trying to control every single thing. She tried to do the gateways, our payment gateways. So we launched an app without a payment gateway, and you'll notice as I go along by video number four, I'm going to show you how she gaslights everything. She makes sure that you understand that it's your problem. In reality, she's the one creating the app, and she couldn't get CyberSource going through, but she blames you. She blames Bank of America. She blames every other merchant, and she tries to push you to what she's trying to build. And of course, the build she built for us was a bookstore app. And before we built it, we asked her, hey, in today's market, building an app like this is competitive now. A lot of these bookstores have scanners. That's the direction we want to go. We want to start there. There's so much that we're trying to do with our app, so we paid a lot of money to create this kind of app where you have so much potential with it, having multi-app function too as well, so people can sell with us and we can make money there, advertisement, all this stuff, right? But she didn't. She created a basic app that has no multi-function app testing, but she'll claim it's multi-app, and she'll stick with her gun saying, "Oh, it's a multi-app." But in reality, I'm gonna show you where it's a single app, because as a vendor, you cannot they don't have separation between the store and them. Every time they place a book on our store, it becomes embedded into our bookstore. Not it doesn't. In other words, there's no separation. It doesn't show, hey, you're buying a book from this person, or link to their bookstore. So which is pretty bad. So anyway, so let's go down here real quick. She's using this. This is our app here she built for us. You notice she put first edition right there. We didn't give her permission to do that, but she's showing the stuff she's built. But when you come down here to the bottom, you notice right here, that's our logo right there. We didn't give her permission to put us on her brands, trust us. No, we didn't. We don't trust her. It's like it's nothing personal, but we didn't tell her to put us on here. She did this to entice more customers. I don't know about these other companies. I have no idea if they know that she's doing this. But if you're one of those companies, I would literally just check to make sure that you give her permission. If not, you should be getting paid for using your logo to move her business up. So it's all about her now. So anyway, so this is what I want to show you guys. So we didn't get permission for that. Just to bring it back, this is a website, and um, so now we're gonna go to the App Store. Here's the App Store, and I already tried to type it in earlier. I typed when you come up here, we're gonna look for our app that she built for us. So if I go into first edition, right, that's our app. You saw it there. I showed you. I showed you on her website. It says first edition. So we hit search results for first edition, and it's in a Mac. Okay, already we know that if you're building an app, little things you should know is that you have to pay extra to get the Mac functioning. It's a different type of source code, but that will come later for people who create apps and they're trying to create it for Mac too. You're not gonna find it there. So, but we should be on iPhone, iPad apps. So we look here, and there's nothing here. You see these first edition 1ST, 1ST edition, nothing. And then later on, we realize, why come we're not on the App Store? Then we realize that at a certain point, didn't their program wouldn't accept on one, so they use on IST edition, IST edition. And when I click on it, of course, it goes back to Mac. Of course, you're not going to find it there. We go to iPhone, and here we are. We're not first edition. We're IST edition. You see that? And IST edition, IST edition. How embarrassing is that to tell your customers, I'm sorry, you have to put an I instead of a 1. You think they can fix this? No, they can't. I don't understand why they cannot fix it. It says IST edition. We're known as first edition. Well, at the time, Apple wouldn't accept a 1 on their form, on their program. So they use an I. I said, well, fix it. They said, well, we can't fix it. You know why they can't fix it? Because they don't have 50 people. They said between 10 and 50. Google, you need 15 people, 15, to test the app before it goes into their store now. They're more stricter now than Apple is. But you think this is a simple fix? Hey, go in there and correct that IST. No, because if they do, they have to test everything. So I think what she was trying to do is build a basic app, get it done, get the money, and send it to you and go, here, you're done. We're done. And we paid her for a lot more for scanning, video, audio. All this stuff had to be on her for the amount of money we paid her. And she said, yeah, but slowly, when I show you the emails, shows you how she's slowly going into building her basic app. And she controls everything. We don't have no control over this. Zero. Everything's on her computer. Now, there's a reason I'm showing this video, because we're going to talk about the cart. There's no cart, no payment gateway through this whole thing. And of course, she's going to blame you again. She's going to say it's your fault because this and that. And I mean, everything is your fault. And she makes sure that, we tried. But no, what she does is when a company comes in or tries to help her out, she finds a way to demolish that. So I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show you. I'm going to get out of the screen. I'm going to go through one of our emails, So this is an email for a company where we asked to, I'm not saying this is the greatest company for a merchant. The merchant, we ended up talking to them and they said, hey, listen, if we don't use Stripe and we use your gateway, we want to put your gateway on our app. But I would need a percentage, I said, because all the fees I'm paying is ridiculous. I would need a fee. I would need to absorb some of the fees and some of the money in order for this to work. So every sale, I should get a portion back because we're building business for them. They agreed. They said, hey, that's a great idea, And so they made contact with us and they said, yeah, they're ready. So they have their own developers. They have their own techs to do it. Okay, so she sends to me, hi, Mara, to finalize the payment gateway integration, we have compiled all the necessary technical requirements and documentation. Please see the note below. Once you have received these details from the bank, please forward them to us so we can complete the setup. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but the more I do this, the more I learn. Well, the setup should be through us, not through her. So in other words, she's taking control of the app. This right here alone shows you that she's trying to control the app and use us to give her all the information. When in reality, she should be setting it up with the bank, and then we have control over this in the bank. It's our program. But this alone just shows you that she's trying to control the payment gateway too. Of course, Bank of America caught her, CyberSource. That's the reason it failed. Not because it was their fault. They don't know what they're doing. Because she's going to blame CyberSource when I show in the videos. She's going to blame them. She's going to say it's their fault. They don't know what they're doing. But in reality, these companies like CyberSource protected themselves. They already knew they couldn't put it on her computer, or she couldn't do what she was doing because the ISP shows a different address. It doesn't show to her. It's supposed to be for me. And they weren't explaining it. They were just saying, no, you can't do that. If she went through our gateway, through our computer, it would have passed. But the testing wasn't passed because it didn't recognize her. And she kept trying to get him to send all the information as she was like it was her bank account. And they wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't do it either. I said, no, I think we have to do it this way, because they had certain ways of doing it. So, but this is a different merchant. He was willing to work with us. He's willing to help us do this. So he's going to get his team to meet with us. But again, she took a couple. Say, oh, hold on, and she'll gaslight this whole system. So the first thing, she starts with her sandbox account activation details. She's trying to take control. She's going to need all this from them. But in reality, I think what we need to do is create keys and get them to sign, to create the app under their store. But they're not going to give her all this information, like all this stuff. At the time, I don't know. I'm like, oh, they should let's see what she's doing. She sounds like she knows what she's doing. But in reality, this is all to control the payment gateway too. And if they fell for it, it would have been, she would have owned that too. So we would never have control. But in reality, we're supposed to create the keys on our program, and it should go to us, and we test it. Excuse me. So there was kind of a form where we tried to test it that way, but it wasn't passing. So everything failed. Once again, it failed because they don't have control. So we try to make the meet. Let's meet together. And of course, he got sick, and she latched onto that quickly. She latches on. Oh, he's sick. We try to make we tried to meet with him, but he wouldn't meet. I said, yeah. He said he was sick. Let's change the date and let's move forward. But no, she'll stick to that, and she'll make sure anything that happens and that doesn't meet this, like, to get this going. She fights hard to demolish. Oh, we can't do this. We can't do this. Yeah, we have to. No, we're gonna have this meeting. Okay, if they miss again and we need to do Stripe, we need to go to Stripe. Oh no, okay, but this company's gonna pay me. They're gonna meet the standard fees and help us out. No, no, no. Okay, and then every time, oh no, oh, they're not working for us. I and she'll make these demands that, like, it's, she focuses more on not trying to meet with them, or I said, give me a few days. I have to get everything ready, which is basically we're just talking. There's nothing new. She just literally just gaslights everything, and in a minute, they couldn't meet. She wants to go to Stripe. Because I told, so this is what she latched on. I said, Robert, we don't meet soon. I have no choice but to go to Stripe. I said we might have to go to Stripe, and basically I'm not trying to go to Stripe, but if I do go to Stripe, we're gonna use Connect, Stripe Connect, which is for multi-app functions, and one of the things I think she tried to not meet with this company, or made it hard to meet with the company, or say it was their fault for not meeting or meeting her time. She really worked hard at that. She really emphasizes that oh, this team doesn't want to meet, so we're not ready. In reality, she didn't want to do it because they were going to catch her. If we went to the next step and we finally met, and we tried to integrate this system, this team would have found out and say, hey, you know what, you're not supposed to do it that way. And she doesn't want that, because that would have just caused her a whole bunch of problems. But in reality, they're right. She shouldn't be doing it this way. So let's recap. She's doing it this way because she's trying to control everything, and I have no control. Bank of America caught her, CyberSource caught her, but she blames everyone, and she does that because she wants to make sure you focus that it was their fault, so she can continue what she's doing. And I don't know the purpose of her controlling everything. She's creating an app. I don't understand why she won't even show us the source code. We should be at least able to see the source code. We're not trying to control the source code. We want to see it to make sure we're going in the right direction. With lawyers, with letters, professional letters, stating that we're not going to do this, do that, that we're just simply trying to view it. And she gaslights the system, saying that she's not going to release anything because I owe her $5,000. I said, well, you didn't complete it. You submitted an app without the payment gateway. And the reason she didn't submit it with the payment gateway is because she couldn't do what she was trying to do. She was trying to control that. And that's the reason she didn't do it. Not because these people didn't meet with her. It's because she tried to control the gateway. And they have so much embedded. So like Bank of America went as far as out getting some of the best developers to make sure that this doesn't happen. And these guys knew when they put their system together, if it didn't pass those tests, then you're not getting a register. You're not getting a card. But instead of saying, oh, you know what, the reason they're not accepting it is because this system is on our computer, not yours. She's saying, oh, they don't know what they're doing. And she's saying that because you have no clue. You're not the developer. You're hiring them. You're just going along saying, oh, I see, yeah. Oh, wow, I can't believe. Okay, Bank of America don't get it. I was even on the side of her saying, no, she's asking for this. I don't get it. The test is just not going through. But then later on, after I looked at it, I go, oh, Bank of America is trying to protect me. Wow, so I kind of owe Bank of America an apology. So, but it's sad because when you look at all this, she'll start telling you, because I write her here, for the past 7 months, I've gone beyond my original scope, she says, especially regarding integration to ensure this project succeeds. I have done this because I value our business relationship at the potential of the first edition app. However, I must be candid. The tone of recent emails has been demotivating. Phrases such as, how can you sleep? I wrote to her, how can you sleep? Because I started catching on to the stuff she's doing. She's literally catching on. Here's some of her mistakes for all subjected sub updates. So these she literally misspells words. They have Copilot now you can use to correct your language, but she'll when she does marketing for you, you really have to read her all this. But I think now she's using AI to help her out. So you know, and spell words, but then when you read AI, it gets the wrong thing. So let's go back from the beginning. I'm writing to provide factual timeline regarding the project's progress to an address. So I forget what I wrote her, but I wrote her that literally something's wrong with the whole thing. Uh, oh, here we go. This is what I wrote because I had a tester come in. Her name is Victoria. Um, I said with Victoria, all accounts are extensions of the master dashboard. So I'm telling her that even when we tested the dashboard for multi vendor app, which we're supposed to have, remember we paid a lot of money to do this, to have video, or I mean audio, to have the scanners working to scan books, all this stuff, and to have a multi app function. That's what the money was going for. But instead, she created a basic app, which is just it should be owned by somebody owning their own bookstore at home. So you can inventory your books. So everything's done manually on the app, which is not what we wanted. We didn't want to pay that much money to create an app. We can get a program to Excel to do that. And of course, it's supposed to have sharing features and all stuff to share all the ideas, all stuff, but nothing was done. So we're talking about there's no separation showing customer which vendor they're buying from because it's all embedded into one app. So in other words, if you're a vendor and you go through our app and I give you a vendor dashboard and you create your dashboard, right, and then you add a book, well, on the app store, when you download, the user should see first edition bookstore, and then next to it you see vendors. And that vendor, you click on it, you see your store or the customer store. You click on it, and it should go to her program, show you what she's selling. But no, it's all embedded into one. She types in the book, it's placed in my inventory as first edition. And she'll fight nails in two saying this is a multi app because she added vendors. They can add, no, you created another dashboard where they can add books to the store. We could use that. I said, oh, we can use that because once we grow big, we're gonna need to have a lot of people on the computer. Like we're gonna have to hire 10 people to start working on dashboards for customers or vendors. That could be used later on. But right now, she didn't create a multi app. So we're telling her all this. So she comes here, and then I have to find the email where I tell her, how can you sleep at night? Like all the stuff you're doing is insane. I'm catching on now. March 6, 15, 2026 at the end, I started realizing that she'd been leading me to her idea of an app, not my idea, because she changes as she goes along. And I'm going to show you another customer who I've been in contact with, how she did the same thing to her. She doesn't listen. She just continues doing what she thinks is good. And you're like, well, that's not what we asked for. And she's still continuing to create what she wants to after you tell her what you're trying to create. And it's sad. But I did tell her, how do you sleep at night? Like it's insane. This payment gateway should have been done a long time ago, basically. And so this person here, Victoria, sent her an email that I'm a nice person, that I should help her out. I saw the email, and it was just a normal talk, like giving her a suggestion. Mario deserves really great stuff, and she, wow, you got these people against me. And I said, no, she's just saying uh, like backing me up, going, hey, she's been watching me go through all this stuff. She's one of the vendors we used to test. Boy, she gaslighted really big, like, and incredibly big. So anyway, so we get to we decide now that we have no choice because she literally ended this whole thing, and she went straight to Stripe. She went to Stripe without our permission. Like, in other words, she said she's gonna ask Stripe. I said, wait a minute, we didn't even give you the go light to create Stripe. We're still talking to this company here. We're still talking to this company, and she's like, no. And she reminds me, you said that they don't get nothing but the third meeting. We're going straight to Stripe. She ran with that. She grabbed it on. She ran with that very quickly. She just, oh, you have to be careful because she's trying to move on so you don't catch her doing what she's doing. And so she goes to Stripe. And then I go, okay, we have no choice now. You're doing Stripe. Okay, so she's trying to test Stripe. And I tell her, well, if we're going to do Stripe, we need to use Connect Stripe because that's for multi-app users. And then she comes back with, well, we can't use multi-app. We can't use Connect Stripe right now. We have to use basic Stripe. No, if you have a multi-app function, that's what it's meant for. And she gaslights that too. She says, no, you got to do basic before you go to multi-app. It makes no sense. I go, that is literally, you said you build a multi-app function app. So why can't you go to Connect Stripe? That's what all the vendors, it's already set up for that. But she continues to try to get me to use a basic Stripe app. And I tell you why. The reason is because she doesn't have a multi-app. If you had a multi-app, you would have gone straight to Connect Stripe. But no, she's trying to get you to use basic app, a basic Stripe account, which is set up for a single user. So that's literally what I'm dealing with. And now I said before, she blocked us out. She kicked us out of the program. We have no control over anything, and neither will you. You sign up with her, she'll control everything. And if at the end she doesn't like it, you're done with her. She takes your money. She can demolish the program. She can do whatever she wants. Right now, I think it's still up, the program. I stopped working on the app, but we're going to go into the App Store so you can see how things function and work. And now, like I said before, I give her credit for certain things and discredit for other things. But the money we sent to her was supposed to give us a working app that's not doing so much manual work. And that app we're doing literally takes a lot of your time. Manually, you have to add everything by hand, description, all of it has to be done. When all she had to do is create an app, like we said, scan it, all the information shows up, it goes on your dashboard, and that's what we asked for. And it can be done because companies have done it already, But no, she took a different road, the road she wanted. But I started questioning her here, so I started telling her, that it's not working. So here it is, where it says, our team follow up and propels bank over a 3-week period to secure a meeting. See, she's saying, they took all this time to secure this meeting. No, I secured it. And we finally received an invitation by Google Meet March 13, 2029. And however, shortly after 5 a.m., you informed Robert that you decided to move forward with Stripe. No, I didn't. I said, hey, I have no choice. If you can't meet, we're going to have to go to Stripe. But I should be the one to do that last signal. Okay, let's go to Stripe. She does it on her own. She's explaining why she's doing it, because she did it on her own because of what I told during the meeting. I said, hey, Robert, if we don't get this done, we're going to have to go to Stripe. She hits it. So that's her signal. And she does it. She's trying to take control because she doesn't want this company to go into the app because they're going to catch her. And that's the same thing with the other company I try to hire to help her with CyberSource. I said, hey, I have a developer. We're going to pay him. He's done CyberSource. He's going to be able to go in there. And she went with her, trying to demolish that, making sure that we don't meet, Of course, Bank of America gave her the test site, and she kept saying, see, they don't know what they're doing. It's just insane, guys, insane, So, like I said, we have lawyers on her now. We're gonna keep you informed about all the stuff we do. But thank you for watching video number 2.